So we got to talk about the Democratic Party and the fact that they continue to collapse because they have no leadership, right? They have no direction. They're just lost. And with Chuck Schumer last week folding to the Republican Party when it came to the CR bill, you have many angry Democrats talking about, you know what, they want to leave the Democrat Party. One person in particular is Symone Sanders, who, keep in mind, she has this new show on MSNBC, which is when she's the one replacing Joyless Reed, right? Her along with Michael Steele and someone else. So they have this new show on MSNBC, and from what I've seen so far, it's not that great, but you know what, let's give it a chance. So she's going to talk about how she's no longer wanting to be a Democrat and that she's going to go independent. So let's hear what she has to say, and then I'll share my thought.
Oh, this is the bill, ladies and gentlemen. I printed the bill out earlier this week because I'm like, let me read the bill. Because everybody's saying it's something in the bill, something in the bill. What's in this bill? Continuing resolution? Well, there are cuts on page 17, on page 22. I wrote this down. There are cuts on page 46, cuts on page 42, 22, cuts on page 62, cuts on page 63, cuts on page 64. Page 62 is where they cut $300 million from the Cures Act. Burn pits for veterans. Page 22 is where they zero out the money for the COPS program. I didn't write down which page it was on, but within this document, $1 billion cut from Washington, D.C. I'm a D.C. resident, and I'm pissed. Yep. Okay.
See, all right, so she's a D.C. resident, so she's mad that they're making all these cuts. Like newsflash, this isn't about you, right? The cuts that are being made isn't about you. This is bigger than you. And this is what you need to understand. We are $36 trillion in debt. We have a $2 trillion deficit. So we're broke, right? The United States is broke. And when you're spending more than you make, cuts have to be made. Like, drastic decisions have to be made. Now, everyone's not going to like the decisions, right? Because no one likes things being taken away from them, okay? Like, no one does, right? Like, you take, children, they don't like being things taken away from them, so they cry. But I would think, like, as adults, we would understand that when you make decisions, when you're operating in the red, right, you're spending more than you make, that you understand that we need to get our finances in order. Cuts have to be made. And this is what DOGE and Elon Musk is doing. Yes, not everyone's going to like it because no one wants things taken away, but these are things that must be done, right? Because we have to get back, we have to balance the budget. We got to get to a point where we're making more than we spend. This is how everybody should be operating, right? We have to do this in our household. We got to do it in an everyday part of life. So does our government, right? So we need to be holding them accountable, and these things need to be done. Yes, I know you don't like it, but guess what? This is bigger than you. So get over it.
So, there's actually little that the Senate minority leader can say, and the 10 Democrats that voted with the Republicans can say, to appease somebody like me. I'm about to change my registration to independent, first and foremost. Shout out to Hakeem Jeffries, though, because the congressional Democrats stayed together. And I'm just going to, I don't have a question, I'm just going to read what Rebecca Traister had to say. This is what Rebecca Traister said. Let's get Rebecca Traister up there on the thing. Rebecca Traister, she writes this, and she, on her Substack, she says, in 2024, Democrats ran on warnings that Trump was going to destroy our democracy, and now that he and his team are very much in the process of doing just that, these same politicians are questioning whether or not to stand up to him and his party at one of the first opportunities they have to meaningfully do so. The only opportunity, I would add, there's not another option for Senate or Democratic or Senate Democrats or House Democrats to effectively push back. This was it. They blew it. The Democratic Tea Party was born the same day that Chuck Schumer took to that podium to read that very well-crafted statement that told us he folded like a paper napkin.
Well, and that's why you have members of the Democratic caucus privately encouraging Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to primary Schumer.
Anyone can primary him.
And you see, this is the problem with the Democratic Party, right? If you ask someone, like, okay, who is the face of the Democratic Party, right? Who is that person that you think represents the Democratic Party? AOC, with Jasmine Crockett, right? These are people that are when you think of the Democratic Party, these are the names that pop up. And the problem that the Democrat Party has is they have a masculinity problem, right? They don't have strong masculine leadership, okay? And this is why you saw so many young men going towards the Republican Party, right? You have no strong male leadership, someone that you can say, all right, this is what I want to follow, right? I don't want to follow AOC. She's so far left. Jasmine Crockett, she's unprofessional. We see how she speaks. Like we see the type of person she is. These aren't people that I want to look towards to and say, yes, I want to follow these people. Okay? And when you're looking about if you're a man, right? And you're looking at the Democratic Party, like they don't represent you. You're like, yeah, I don't see that. I don't see any strength, right? And this is at a time where United States needs strength, right? They need strong leadership. Right? Kamala Harris wasn't giving you that. Joe Biden wasn't giving you that. AOC is not going to give you that. Jasmine Crockett's not going to give you that. Right? We need strong male leadership. And that's why people selected Donald Trump, because they want strength. When you look at the Democratic Party, you don't see strength. You don't get that. You get people that you get chaos. You get a lot of chaos. And people that are just way too far out there. And that you're like, yeah, you know, those ideas don't work. Like, they're not going to work for us in today's country, in the United States, right? But these are the AOCs, the Jasmine Crockett. When you listen to them talk, it's just like, yeah, the things that you're saying don't make any sense. But AOC, when if you look at the polls, AOC is like leading. When you ask, you know, Democrat voters, like, who is the leader of, who do you feel represents your values? AOC is the top of the list. Like, if the Democrats make AOC their leader, like if for some reason they find some way to get Schumer out there and they put AOC, man, look at man, I don't mind it, because that means the Democrats are going to be just chaos. They have no idea how they're going to run things. It's going to just be straight chaos, and Republicans are going to be running with laps around them. So if that's what they want to do, I'm for it, right? Because then that just improves the chances of Republicans staying in power. Okay, but this is when you look at the Democratic Party, you see that what represents them is a lot of women, gays, trans, feminine men. That when you look at that party, that's what represents them, and you wonder why they're losing so many men. Men are going from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party because they don't want to be associated with that.
So on that point, which was very well stated, I might add, you know, Congressman Dent, I think I hear what you're saying about what Schumer was up against here in terms of the reality of having to, you know, shut the government down. But here's where I have a problem. Republicans have effectively already done that. I mean, they have fired, entire agencies. I mean, they're people not at desks. They've invited people back to the office just so they can fire them. So I don't understand where the leverage was that everyone's talking about Republicans would have had in a shutdown when they've already been shutting down the government. So, I mean, help me connect that, because I get the legislative thing, the paper, the bill that Symone put up, and I get the continuing resolution piece of this. But if the argument is, well, we have to avert a shutdown because people will be hurt, well, damn it, I see what's happening out on the street. I know small business owners who aren't even federal employees have had to close their businesses or fire their personnel because of what's happening, what Trump and DOGE are doing to them. So help me.
I mean, what are they doing to them? I mean, I don't understand. Like, what DOGE and, you know, Elon Musk and DOGE have to do? Like, you know, shutting things down have to do with the small business. Like, unless that small business getting like federal funding, like, I don't see how, you know, that's going to affect them. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't see how it's affecting that small business. Like, unless they're getting like federal funding, right? Like if I got a business, like, you know, what's happening with DOGE has no effect on what I'm doing. Like, and the thing is, it's like Chuck Schumer did the right thing, right? He did the smart thing, because if he would have like, the government is not shut down. Like, we all know things are still being dispersed. Yes, DOGE is they're going into, you know, government organizations and shutting them down. Ones that just aren't really necessary, that they don't really like have that huge impact on our country. And obviously these are the things that, you know, DOGE is assessing. But, you know, things are still operating, right? People are still getting paid. Veterans still getting paid. You know, Social Security checks are still getting paid. If you were to shut the government down, you know, I don't know how that would affect them. So maybe that's what Chuck Schumer is thinking as well. But yeah, it's like, these are they did the right thing, because if they would have shut down the government, that'd have gave Elon Musk the freedom to just go in there and really find out and cut the things that we don't really need. So I think Schumer did the right thing.
Make that connection, because I don't see it.
Well, everything I agree with everything you.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But yeah, so you see, this is the thing, man. When it comes to the Democratic Party, right? They don't really have any leadership, right? They're lost. Okay, and for a lot of people, they get to a point where they're just done with the Democratic Party. I remember when I left the Democratic Party, I was back in 2016, and I left, and this is when I was that a brainwashed liberal. I left because I saw what the Democratic Party did to Bernie Sanders when it came to Hillary Clinton. Once I saw that, I saw the corruption. I said, yeah, I'm done. I went independent. I voted independent. I didn't vote for Trump or I definitely wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton. But I just voted third party. Eventually, I smartened up and Trump won me over in 2020, and I voted for Trump, and then of course voted for him again in 2024. But these are the things that for a lot of people, why they're leaving the Democratic Party. They see what the Democratic Party is and what they've become, and they said, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that. Okay, they see how far they've gone, how far left they've gone, the corruption that's going in the Democratic Party, and they've lost so many people. They've lost Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Jeff, just so many people that they've left. RFK, Tulsi Gabbard. They've lost so many people, and you got to ask the question why. That's because y'all have gone so far left. People are like, they can't recognize you. They don't want to be associated with you, right? You've lost your values. You let the progressives take over your party, and they've brought you all the way to the opposite end, where common sense isn't a thing anymore. And you wonder why people are leaving your party. And of course, let's be honest. Like Symone Sanders, the difference is when I left the party. When I registered independent, I didn't vote Democrat ever again. I haven't voted Democrat. The thing is, she's probably going to register as independent, but she's still going to vote Democrat. We all know that. She ain't going to vote independent. She's going to vote Democrat. She's just saying, I'm leaving the Democratic Party. But we know where you're going to vote. You're not going to vote Republican. So you registering as independent really doesn't mean anything. So those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe. Right, so guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.